God gave you something before you ever asked for it, and the shocking part is most believers bury it without even realizing it. Because the parable of the talents was never really about money. It was about the terrifying weight of what you've been trusted with. And if you've been feeling that quiet pressure lately, that restless sense that you're sitting on something you haven't touched yet, this is your warning. In Matthew 25, a master gives 3 servants talents according to their ability. Not randomly, not evenly, but precisely, which means whatever you've been given was measured for you specifically. And pretending you don't have enough is really just fear wearing the mask of humility. 2 servants took what they had and multiplied it, doubling their return without hesitation, while the third did something far more common than we like to admit. He dug a hole and buried it. And here's the hidden lesson that stings. Burying your gift doesn't feel like sin while you're doing it. It feels like caution. It feels like playing it safe. It feels responsible. But God calls it wicked and lazy. And that word lazy isn't about how hard you work at your job. It's about how hard you work at becoming who you were created to be. You were never meant to preserve what you were given. You were meant to multiply it. Because the kingdom doesn't operate on maintenance. It operates on increase. And every day you spend protecting your gift instead of releasing it is a day you're quietly rehearsing the excuse of the third servant who said, "I was afraid, and I hid your talent in the ground." Fear disguised as wisdom is still fear, and it will cost you more than failure ever could. Notice something else: the master never asked for guarantees. He asked for movement, he asked for risk. Because faith and risk are the same currency in God's economy. And the 2 servants who invested weren't rewarded because they succeeded without struggle. They were rewarded because they moved despite uncertainty. Which means the blessing was never in the safety, it was in the obedience. This is where the wealth lesson gets uncomfortable. Because most people think God is withholding provision from them, when in reality, He's watching to see what they'll do with what's already in their hand. And Luke 16:10 says it plainly, "Whoever is faithful in little is faithful in much." So if you've been asking God for more while ignoring the seed already sitting in your palm, you've had the answer the entire time. There's a secret rhythm hidden in this parable that most teachers skip over. The master didn't return quickly. There was a long, silent gap of time before the reckoning, and that delay was intentional because your faithfulness isn't tested in the moment you receive the gift. It's tested in the waiting, in the years no one is watching, in the season where it would be easy to assume God forgot about you. He didn't forget. He's watching what you build in the dark, because what you do with your gift in obscurity is what determines what you're trusted with in visibility. And Proverbs 13:11 confirms this. Wealth gained hastily dwindles, but whoever gathers little by little will increase, meaning the wealth God is building in you isn't meant to arrive overnight. It's meant to be cultivated through consistency, through small, faithful acts of stewardship that feel insignificant in the moment, but are actually laying the foundation for something far bigger than you can currently see. And here's the part that should unsettle you if you've been coasting. The third servant didn't lose his talent because he was evil. He lost it because he did nothing, and it was given to the one who already had 10, which means increase flows toward those who are already in motion, not those who are waiting for the perfect moment to start. Stagnation doesn't just cost you growth, it costs you what you already have, because the parable ends with a chilling redistribution. Take the talent from him and give it to the one who is 10. And that should terrify anyone who's been sitting on a calling, a business idea, a ministry, a gift, waiting for certainty before they act. Because certainty was never promised, only capacity was. And what you do with that capacity determines whether it multiplies or gets stripped away and handed to someone hungrier than you. This is the hidden wealth lesson most sermons miss. True abundance isn't about how much you're given, it's about your willingness to steward what's already yours with courage instead of caution. And God is far less interested in your comfort than He is in your obedience, because comfort produces buried talents, but obedience produces increase that echoes into eternity. So ask yourself honestly, what have you buried out of fear that God is calling you to unearth right now? What gift, what dream, what calling have you convinced yourself isn't enough to risk on? Because the master's coming back, the reckoning is closer than you think. And the question won't be how much you were given, it will be what you did with it. Stop protecting what was never meant to stay hidden. Dig it up. Put it to work. The harvest is waiting on your obedience, not your excuses.